Don't look surprised. That's your car, Professor Drake. It's been somewhat altered for a purpose. That won't help. Each door is automatically locked. Relax, Professor. I'll do the driving. Your car is under my direct control. You can't see me, but I can see you from my remote point. Wait, Professor Millard. You've been working too hard. Life isn't worth it. Your life. Remember poor Professor Drake and Kenyon and Bennett? The papers said their deaths were accidental. But you didn't believe that, did you? You've begun to suspect more than is good for you. Or for me. Now we shall see what the papers say about your death.
Nothing could be salvaged. Science Associates has had to start again from scratch. As you can see, Miss Thomas, we've set up a temporary laboratory here in the conference room.
But what could have caused the disaster?
An unavoidable accident. Unfortunately, no trace was found of Professor Millard, who was working in the building on a supersonic experimental test at the time. That is about all we can tell you.
Can or dare?
I've given you facts.
You also gave me the facts on Professor Drake's death. As publicity director for Science Associates, you've done a good press job, Mr. Winslow, but aren't these accidents occurring rather frequently?
This is a scientific experimental project. There is always an element of danger.
As well as sabotage?
Now you're being melodramatic.
No, realistic. If any outside source is suspected of being behind these misfortunes, Science Data magazine would appreciate having that information.
Spoken like a true reporter, Miss Thomas. But Science Associates is a too isolated and unpublicized project to attract sabotage.
And Jeff King ought to know. As our rocket propulsion expert, he'd be among the first to come in contact with any outside interference.
Well, perhaps some of your other members could give me additional information?
Information is something we discuss in private sessions, Miss Thomas. However, I can supply names of those comprising our group. That's Professor Bryant, formerly head of Technical Research University, specializes in metallurgy. Martin Conway, atomic expert and senior member of Science Associates. Dr. Grafner, aerodynamic wizard, and Gunther von Strum, authority on nuclear fission.
That's quite a collection of brains.
And now...
Thank you for the interview. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Goodbye, Miss Thomas.
I'll see you soon.
As soon as there are any new developments.
Thanks again, Mr. Winslow.
Goodbye, Miss Thomas.
The meeting is called to order, gentlemen. As you know, we must select someone to continue the late Professor Millard's experiments.
Why? In my opinion, Millard had become a visionary with fantastic ideas. Mad dreams of developing flying suits to change men into human rockets.
A victim of overwork.
Yes, it must have unbalanced him. His weird experiments cost him his life, and us our laboratory.
No, not so fast, gentlemen. There is a possibility that Professor Millard knew something about Drake's death, but he wasn't satisfied with the theory of accident, and neither am I.
I agree. The day before that lab explosion, Professor Millard hinted that he was close to naming someone who calls himself Dr. Vulcan. Millard believed this person was guilty of stealing secrets from Science Associates and was responsible for Drake's death.
Are you suggesting that one of us is a murderer?
I'm merely repeating Professor Millard's words.
You seem to be better informed than the rest of us, Jeff. Suppose you investigate the matter for us. In a special capacity. in order to protect our persons and our interests. Agreed, gentlemen?
Yes. The new controlled rocket we'll soon be testing. It's part of our interest. Safeguarding that can be Jeff's first job.
All right, gentlemen, I accept. I'll arrange for the secret transportation of the guided missile to the testing grounds.
Well, if there's nothing more at the moment, I move that this session adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned.
This waiting around gets me jumpy. I'm going out and get some fresh air.
You'll stay put until we get our orders.
Acting a little scared of somebody we've never seen. Aren't you, Durkin?
I'm not scared. I just aim to please.
Yeah, aiming to please a voice. A voice behind a door. Over a radio. Or on the telephone. I'd like to see who I'm dealing with.
Maybe I have seen him. Right now, the important thing is to grab that pot of gold at the end of this rainbow.
Wonder what Dr. Vulcan's angle really is.
Those scientists out on the desert are working on newfangled flying missiles and trick jet planes. Certain foreign governments might pay plenty for that kind of stuff.
If Dr. Vulcan can get his hands on it.
Maybe that's why he's got us working for him. Durkin speaking.
I have a job for you. Do you know Professor Jeffrey King when you see him?
Sure. What about him?
He has convinced science associates that Millard and Drake, at least, did not die because of accidents.
You think he knows anything or just guessing?
That's what I must find out. If he has any evidence against us, it's probably hidden in the conference room. Tonight, I want you to go there and search.
Find anything?
Sure, a mess of books and a lot of scientific hoopla. Nothing we can use.
We ain't finished yet.
We better be in case King shows up.
Why worry about him? Those professor types are all brains and no brawn.
What are you doing here?
Just browsing.
Whatever you're browsing for, you apparently didn't find. Who sent you here?
That's our business.
Well, I'm making it my business. Professor Millard.
Here I am, Jeff.
What's the idea?
Well, I heard someone coming, and I can't risk being discovered by uninvited guests.
Oh, I see. By the way, I found a couple of uninvited guests last night in the conference room.
Oh? Who were they?
I don't know. But I think they were two of Vulcan's little helpers. From now on, that project will be guarded.
So you've been singled out as Vulcan's next victim.
Not necessarily. Vulcan may have believed we had some evidence against him and sent the men to look for it.
I hope you're right. Jeff, I'm not going to stay here any longer. I'm sure I can unmask Dr. Vulcan if I go back to...
Now, wait a minute, Professor. We've been all over that before. Vulcan nearly succeeded in killing you in that laboratory explosion, remember?
Of course. It was only your quick thinking that saved me.
Well, next time we may not be so lucky. If you want to live, Professor, for the time being, you'll have to remain dead.
You're right. But there's so much work to do.
Yes, and all the time, space, and equipment with which to do it.
You're right. That reminds me. I've completed the rocket suit.
Good.
Well, what's so amusing?
I was thinking how astonished Professor Graffner will be when he sees this. You know, he was convinced you were insane to try to build an atomic-powered rocket suit. And I guess he thought I was even crazier for helping you.
Well, here it is. I hope it works.
We'll soon know. I'll take it with me and test it for you.
Well, stay close to the ground for the first few flights. There still may be a few adjustments to be made.
Right. By the way, the professor's elected me to move the new rocket to the proving grounds for testing.
Oh, well, be careful, Jeff. That's the kind of thing that Dr. Vulcan could sell to a foreign nation for a fortune.
Yes, if personal gain is the motive behind Vulcan, but we're not sure of that. In any event, I've had the demonstration model loaded aboard an unmarked truck. It's being kept under armed guard in a small warehouse in town. I feel sure Dr. Vulcan has no idea where it is.
I hope you're right.
I'll let you know about the tests.